Hi, 6-digit sauce. Ken here. Have you ever wondered how humanity will come to an end? Have you ever wondered what happened if a bunch of anime enthusiasts makes a non-anime related game? Well, I present to you Project One Night Stand. Here's our team. Again, there haven't been any changes to our world yet, but I'm gonna introduce every member anyways because we are not sure if we really pay attention in the past presentation and I need to fill time. Richard is our game producer, I am the lead software engineer, Dylan is a tree, Eric is UI and G producer, Brandon is both technical artist and audio engineer, also he wants everyone to know that he liked Kingdom Hearts for some reason. Jude is gameplay/generalist programmer, Austin the hamster, and Matt are just generalist programmer. Oh, I called Dylan a tree again, he's actually our designer, sorry about that. There has been some changes to our game, but I will talk about those in detail later. The only change we have in the influence is we replace Rogue Legacy 2 with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. To quote the person who wrote the first pitch script, when creating our game, we want to put so many things into it because we all love different kind of games. Obviously, we can't put everything into our game and make mother of all games, so we decided what it was gonna be like at the base level. The game will have weapons and movement from Dead Cell. We wanted the story to be implicit in narrating the story, similar to Dark Souls, as well as a dodge mechanic. Instead of upgrade and buff, the game will now have a weapon durability and health system similar to those in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The objective of the game is still the same, defeat the final boss. Unfortunately, the hidden boss is scrapped for now due to other things we're gonna have in our game. The game setting is still unchanged, a medieval fantasy world similar to those in early Final Fantasy games. The game's genre is now just a 2D platformer with RPG elements of fighting monsters and upgrading your health. We scrapped the roguelike part due to time and budget constraints. Also, our budget is 0. The game will be run on Windows, potentially iOS, and Temple OS. And it will appeal to platforming fan and fantasy RPG fan. The rating of the game is still the same due to its depiction of violence. As I mentioned in the past, the story is not told explicitly, and the player is encouraged to pay attention to small nuance in the story that tells small part of the story. Without going too deep into the story, our monarch in our kingdom has the crown stolen by an antagonist monarch of the monster kingdom. The noble knight, our playable character, is told to retrieve the crown for a handsome reward. But it's just a crown. So why is the player told to risk their life to retrieve it? Stay tuned and find out. Mechanics. Just like any 2D platformer, the game emphasizes on movement. The player can jump, attack, and dash. While there are some stages that require the player to make it to the end, there are stages that have bosses that block their way. As I mentioned in the influence slide, the game will have a health system similar to the one in Breath of the Wild. There are going to be upgrades dropped by boss that increase the player's max health. There will also be a shop system where the player can buy weapon and health potion. Of course, there will be save and quit option because life is terrible and we don't want to make it any worse. Or do we? And there will be weapon durability system where weapons have a limited use before they break. Also, the game has a karma system for some reason. Karma doesn't really do anything, it's just a number that can be affected by the player's action. Did I mention you can also kill NPC in the game? This GIF is a demonstration of the health system. As you can see, when the player touches the enemy, they lost 1 heart, and they die when they have 0 heart. This makes the game really realistic because just like in real life, people die when they are killed. This GIF is a showcase of the attack animation currently within the game. It's a little rough right now due to lack of time, but we will polish it and add more attack animation when we finally have the time to do so. This GIF shows dash or dodge mechanic that we're gonna have in our game. They're the same thing really. Dynamics. The dynamic of the games are simple. The player attack enemies and perform platforming to get to the end of the level. The difficulty rises when it becomes harder to keep their health above 0. The game has elements of difficult platforming like invading certain hazards and traps. The player doesn't have to kill every enemy to progress, although loot, such as weapon, will be rewarded if they chose to do so. But remember, each enemy is coded to have their own family. Every time the player hits an enemy, the weapon will lose 1 durability. When it reaches 0, the weapon will break. If that happens, the player has 5 options. 1. Take out another weapon from their inventory. 2. Pick up a weapon dropped by the surrounding enemy. 3. Fight with a fist, which isn't really a good idea. 4. Run away. Or 5. Accept your own demise, because no matter how hard we struggle, entropy will end us all. This is to encourage players to master different weapons and manage their inventory, so they won't be run out of weapon mid-battle and fight with their fists. Unless they're doing some sort of challenge run, in that case we will make it a nightmare to do so. Aesthetics. The game is still in a fantasy medieval world, but now it's more lighthearted instead of dark and hostile theme we had in the previous pitch. Basically, the opposite of what we had. This video is a trailer created by our lovely technical artist / audio engineer Brandon. Please enjoy. Well, this is it. Thank you for listening to our presentation and have a wonderful day, or evening, or night, or whatever time you're in.